Good morning, guys, and welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. Andrew McInnis, Carmine Bianco with you, as well as a couple guests we're going to have joining us here in a few short minutes. Don Buster and Bryan Leonard. We got a really good slate on tap in the NHL for Tuesday. Hope you guys all had a winning Monday night. It was a one-and-done night for me in the NHL as I had the first period over, Predators and Rangers, and that was it. For me in the NHL, 3% plays. We try and get back on track, build that bankroll back up, and keep cashing those tickets. But I'll tell you, this Tuesday board presents some winners, and maybe it'll be more than just one play for me today. $5 Tuesday, every play available at WagerTalk, just $5. So look forward to chatting with Carm, with Bryan, with Buster, and all of you guys in the live chat to hear what you have to say. And of course, Remembrance Day. Veterans Day in the States. Here in Canada, we call it Remembrance Day, a day for us to remember those that have fought for us and those that are still fighting for us. And I always post a YouTube video on my page from a song called A Pittance of Time. And if you guys are interested, head over to my Twitter. It's very, very nice song and video that's worth taking a look at, I truly believe. But we are both very, very grateful for everybody that sacrificed for us. Carm, good morning to you, my friend. Great NHL board on tap for tonight.
Yeah, I've got my poppy on, Andrew. I'm wearing it proud, as I should. Remembrance Day, of course, lest we forget. Andrew, it is a monster card we have to talk about today. You and I are going to talk about the Montreal LA Kings game. Buster is going to come on and do Winnipeg and Vancouver. Bryan Leonard will come on as well too to talk Washington, Carolina. But before that, you and I will talk Columbus and Seattle. And then, guys, you get a couple of bonus things because if you stay tuned in to WagerTalk today, I'll be on WagerTalk today to talk about the two TNT games tonight, Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and of course, the Anaheim Ducks and the Colorado Avalanche. So we're not going to cover those on today's Puck Time because I'm covering them on WagerTalk today, and there's no sense in being repetitive and doing the same games over twice. With that said, Andrew,
They could want to hear
pod
my
play
thoughts
yesterday. Say,
they could want to hear my thoughts on the game, but hey,
yeah. Well,
it's all right.
You'll be in the WagerTalk today live chat,
Yeah,
giving your thoughts on that one. But well, with that said, the pod play, I told you guys it was an ugly one. I said, hold your nose, but hey, it wasn't only a good pod play. It was done and dusted by the end of the second period, over 5.5 in the Rangers game. They get there. 9 goals, the highest scoring game of the night that didn't go to overtime as the Edmonton Oilers game finished 5-4 in OT. So the pod wins. I've got another pod for you guys towards the end of the show. But before that, Andrew, let's discuss your Montreal Canadiens. Minus 112 tonight against the LA Kings, minus 108. This is essentially a pick'em game for these two, with the total sitting at 6. It's looking like right now unconfirmed goalies across the board I'm seeing in most games, but they should be coming in as we do this show. Darcy Kuemper and it's not Dubas or Dubes as I call him. It looks like Samuel Montembeault. Give me your thoughts, Mr. McInnis.
I gotta say, Carm, this the number itself speaks a bit. It's a bit weird. Like the odds itself, the opening number that we saw. If we're reading the market, it's a Kings number in this one here. It's a Kings number in this game. And depending on where you look at it and where you're following the movement, if this game is on neutral ice, this is a Kings team favored over the Montreal Canadiens. So despite the record, despite the start of the season, despite being at the top of the Atlantic Division, the books are saying not so fast. You know, we like this Kings team a little bit here. I think that when you look at this game, though, you got, first of all, a couple of former Montreal Canadiens coming to town. Might be something worth looking at when it comes to player props with Philip Deneau and Yoel Armia and even Joel Edmondson coming to town. But Kings and Habs, I'll tell you, I saw 5.5 as the opener, 6 at most places now. And it's hard to envision this with a Montreal Canadiens team right now with how much they're scoring. I kind of lean towards the under in this game here. Montembeault got his juice back a little bit. For the third straight game, the Montreal Canadiens gave up a goal on the first shot that they faced, Carm, on Saturday night. But pretty much after that, Montembeault looked a lot better. And the Montreal Canadiens looked a hell of a lot better throughout the rest of that game against Utah. And I think that the defense was a big part of it. And also one thing that Marty St. Louis said to the media, like he needed to be better about, and people loved his accountability, was that he said he wants to spread out the ice time a lot more. Now, you've got this Kings team coming off a win, but look at the last handful of their games they've played. 3 of their last 4 games have gone under the total. And I feel like they started the season off as an over team. Their defense wasn't playing very well. But I think when they're playing their best hockey, they're going to have to be an under team. They're going to have to be a defensive team. So I kind of lean towards the under in this one here, Carm. But this one's kind of tricky because the number says Kings to you. Because if the Montreal Canadiens are that impressive, why are they not a bigger favorite in this one? I feel like the Habs will probably end up being a popular bet, which is not really something that I'm used to seeing by anybody as a Canadiens fan. But I think that we see a lower scoring game in this one, maybe no goal in the first 10, some type of bet like that, under 1.5 first period, something like that. But I do think we see a little bit of a lower scoring game in this one here. What do you think?
Yeah, Andrew, we're going to do a little autocorrect on you, but you talk about the Habs playing well, and I get it. Yes, they are playing well, but I see at some point a little bit of regression coming in for this Habs team who's been playing at a high level. The Habs being favored at minus 112 right now, minus 108 for the Kings. You know what I mean? It is essentially like I said, a pick 'em line. But I think the LA Kings are better than the Montreal Canadiens. I just think they haven't put their season together yet, and they're starting to play a lot better. They lost 3 or 4 games at home, hit the road. And I always say, when you struggle at home, the best thing to do is get on the road. And they started their road trip with a win in Pittsburgh, winning that game 3-2. And now they are 5. They've only lost, of their 8 road games, they've only lost 1 in regulation. They're 5-1-2 in their 8 games. They've won the last 4 meetings at the Forum in Montreal, and they've won 6 of the last 7 visits to Montreal. Give me the LA Kings minus 108. I know yourself, Don Buster, who's coming on shortly, and of course Hab Relic, who's always in our chat, are going to give me a hard time. But I think the LA Kings are the play here. Minus 108. I think it's a good price to take advantage of a team that is looks like they're starting to turn it around. And if it's Samuel Montembeault in goal tonight, the goaltending advantage goes to the LA Kings and Darcy Comfort. So we'll see how that goes, Andrew. So any disagreement?
No, like I said, it's a Kings number. It's a Kings number, I think. But, one thing I'll tell you is that this Canadiens team, for the first time in my whole life, and you're always going to get my fan hat being put on. I'll try and find a hat to put on that just says fan on it sometime for you. But this team has more depth than they've ever had. And even St. Louis said it to the media. He's like Carm, last year, it was literally one line or nothing with this team. And now they can go a game without Caulfield scoring. They can have Kapanen scoring. They can have Demidov scoring, Newhook scoring, whoever scoring, and it can help them out a little bit. So very interested to see. I hate giving out unders in Habs games because I'd love to be able to just sit back and watch like a 5-3 win or something. But we know Deneau is a great defensive forward. He was like that for the Habs. Byfield, a good defensive forward. Let me ask you this. Like, I know that you like the Kings, but do you think long-term success, do you agree with me that the Kings are probably better to take an under here?
I think the Kings are going to eventually be better defensively. That's the one thing with the Kings last year. And that's why I think last year, if memory serves me correct, and I am 57, so sometimes memory does not serve me correct. But Andrew, the Kings struggled at home early in the year, and then they hit the road. They were winning games. That was keeping them in a decent position in the standings. And then they seemed to put it together. And at home, they were a tough out. You couldn't go to LA without playing against a team that was playing some really good defense, shutting down the neutral zone, and making it tough on teams coming in there. It's just, you look at the Kings, and it's a combination of they haven't had the best defensive year, but also offensive year. Obviously, Kopitar was out for a bit. This team needs everybody in the lineup. I don't think the Kings are a team with a wealth of depth that if they have some injuries, they can get past them with the sort of the next man up mentality. They need everyone in there. So, those are my thoughts as far as that goes. I'm going to stay away from the total because it's like you said, the Canadians are a fiery team. You got to give them credit. Every game, especially in the opening 20 minutes, they try and bury teams. That's why they've been a very good first period team. I think if the Kings can get through the first period unscathed or even with a lead, they have a very good chance of winning this game. UCapper, gotta love this guy, man. I love UCapper. He came in on End Zone Live last week as well too, I believe, or the week previous. Always love having these guys on End Zone Live sweating bets, Andrew. So he says, do you guys take into account travel situations in NBA? Second game across country is typically where a team feels the jet lag. Well, the Kings, the thing with the Kings, I think is they've had a day or two off since their last game against, or a couple days off against the Penguins. So I'm not really worried about it. Going from Pittsburgh to Montreal is a very short flight. I think Andrew was at like 90 minutes max, maybe 2 hours, if even that much. I don't think that's going to be an issue with them. But I definitely, when we talk about travel, we always talk about an East Coast team that goes to the West Coast. The first game they come back after a 4-game road trip. I want to bet against them, and vice versa. A West Coast team returning from the East Coast and trying to find a spot where you can bet against them. Obviously, the number comes into it as well too. You can't just blindly say, "All right, I'm going to bet this team because they were against this team because they're coming home off of." 4-game road trip. Any thoughts before we bring in?
No, I agree. I agree. And I agree. And I love hearing people's perspective on that. I love hearing new thoughts. Like, it's a cool thing that Ronald said there. Second game across the country, instead of looking at that first game, the second game across the country, the jet lag. But I do agree with you. It's not like they haven't played right away. They're playing back-to-backs or anything like that. They should be pretty rested from their last game. And 3-2 win for them against the Penguins. They'll be feeling pretty good about it. Got to bring this up really quick. I kind of like this one. The username here is just, there's going to be goals. Kings give way too many power plays. I got to say, that is one thing that is kind of interesting about taking it under in this game, because both teams have good power plays, and I have seen the Habs take more penalties lately, and the Kings do take bad penalties, and the Montreal Canadiens power play has been a lot better lately. Willow says Ducks downfall starts today. Willow, I'd be having a much better season if the Ducks weren't doing so well. That's for sure. All right, guys, we got to get to our next game here soon. Got to mention two things. Number one, Carmine has a 5% play going tonight in the NHL. Big play, Carm. I believe you've had success so far this season with the 5% plays. I love this play. I already know what it is, so I'm looking forward to watching it, cheering it on with you. You guys can get that WT.buzz/CB, and hopefully
you bought my play. Awesome. I think it's great that you bought my play.
Yeah, Sorry. Exactly.
But it's Andrew. It's one of those nights where I've got I think 3 games loaded already for clients. One will be the pod play that I'm going to talk about, but that is not the 5% play, of course. And I'm probably loading 1 or 2 more plays. I kind of really like tonight's card. It is a good card. There's some contrarian plays out there that I'm trying to take advantage of as well too. So we shall see. And no, Kylie, I'm not giving you a hint. Okay, Kylie, I will give you a hint. It's being played tonight, and the surface is ice. All right. With that said, let's bring in Don Julio. Oh my God, he's already. Are you in Mexico already? Look at that shirt.
I'm just wishing, as I've went through the third day of snow here, which that really sucks. I don't know how you guys do it. Anyways, I'm just wishing for Mexico. It should be soon. And by the way, Carmine, best of luck on your 5%er there. And I wish you wouldn't lie to the audience and tell people that you're 57. I really wish you would just tell the truth about that. So.
Buster,
I was born
40 accidents in Ontario. Do you guys not know how to put snow tires on your cars, or what's the deal? We have rain here, thankfully, but does nobody drive there? What's the deal with that?
I tell you, Andrew, on Sunday, because it happened Sunday, and I went and drove up about an hour to meet a bunch of buddies to watch Sunday NFL football, and it hadn't started snowing. It was ridiculous. I haven't driven here in probably 10 years in the snow. These people, I don't know how people are getting their license. It was 30 miles an hour on the highway for a good 40 minutes. It took me what should have took me 45 to 50 minutes to get. It got there in an hour and 40 minutes. So you're right. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm just glad I don't have to deal with this too much longer. And
I know you can't wait to get back to Mexico, so we got to get to our next game.
We got to get to the game. It takes Buster a little longer to drive because he's got a horse-driven carriage. He feeds it beefaroni. But with that said, Buster, Winnipeg minus 127. The Vancouver Canucks plus 105. Total sits here at 6. How are you breaking these down?
Yeah, well, I tell you, Winnipeg comes to Vancouver here on a 3-game losing streak. This will be the Jets' 4th game of a 6-game road trip. And last game, Comrie played in net for the Jets. So Hellebuyck will be good and rested tonight for this game. And what is a little concerning with the Jets is that they've only scored 2 goals in the first 3 games of their road trip. They've lost all 3, as I said. And I'm looking for them to have a big bounce-back game tonight, for sure. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why I believe this. This is going to be Vancouver's, that dreaded 3rd game in 4 nights for the Canucks. And they had, if you watch those games, they had 2 battles. And I mean battles against Columbus in Colorado on the weekend. So that's going to take its toll too as well, being in that bad situation. Then the other reason, the Jets have dominated this club. They've won 7 of the last 9 against Vancouver. And this might be just exactly what the doctor ordered for Winnipeg to get off the schneid here and break that 3-game losing streak. And another thing, and you guys know, Winnipeg's one of those teams that, they've lost 3. Very seldom see them lose 4. I went back on the schedule. It usually happens once a year. I'm just going to hope it doesn't happen tonight. So, and we're getting with a Vancouver club that just, you know what, they play good hockey, but they don't play their best at home. Even last year, I'm sure you guys remember, they were a way better road team. I don't understand it, but, that's just the way it is. And I've already gave this out to my clients because I think it's a great play. And I think the number came up a little short too, so I like that. I like the Winnipeg in this game. So that will be our play. As for the total, I'm going to get into that a bit for you guys, whoever wants to play it. I've seen a whole bunch of 5.5 over 30 in the market. You see a lot of 6 under. I actually like this game over the 5.5 over 30. Have to believe the Jets are going to score some goals tonight. After just, kind of 2 piss poor efforts, or 3 actually, they're only scoring a couple goals. I like them to score some goals tonight. And the Canucks, geez, are they ever a dead over team? They've played their last 6 games over the total and 8 of their last 9. Now, when these 2 clubs get together, at the total of 5.5, they're 8-2 to the over. But the only thing that gives me a pause and what made me go for the Winnipeg play instead of this over here is because Hellebuyck hasn't played since Friday. And he's the kind of guy that he might just stone these guys tonight. You know, you might see a 3-1, 4-1 Winnipeg win. Or I could actually see them winning just as well, 4-3, 5-3. So when I have those when I'm looking through a game and I can envision that, I definitely like the over, but my play is going to be on the Winnipeg Jets at a pretty small number.
All right, Buster. I feel you there. I think with Profetti coming back to the lineup for Winnipeg, it's gonna, he played the last game. He's gonna play. He was on the second line. He'll be playing with. I believe he's gonna be playing with Taze. So we'll see how he does. Give him some time to get back to full strength. But love your breakdown, Buster. What do you got to promote today at WagerTalk on $5 Customer Appreciation Day?
As you say, Carmine, $5 Customer Appreciation Day. I've got a 4% NHL best bet total play. We are number one at the site lifetime at WagerTalk in number one 4% best bet total plays in the NHL. So you might go over and grab that. It's only $5. And also, WagerTalk's got a great deal that they brought out for all the cappers, 10 days of plays. And that includes 5% releases, only $99. What a great deal. That gives you all the NHL, your college football, your college basketball, your NFL, and of course, me and Andrew will be very interested on Sunday as the Grey Cup is played. So go over to the site, go to Don Buster, and grab that great deal. Grab that 4% play tonight for only $5. And as always, thanks, boys. I appreciate the little time that you give me to break down a game for everyone.
Good to see you, Buster.
Thanks, Buster.
Take care, man.
Yeah, man. And just remember that 10 days for $99 is a great deal. $99. That is 1,295 Mexican pesos. You're heading back to Mexico. We wish you the best of luck and enjoy that sun.
Couple more weeks to go, brother. Couple more weeks to go.
All right, Andrew, let's talk the Columbus Blue Jackets, who kind of choked one away in the third period yesterday against the Edmonton Oilers. Seattle Kraken minus 121. Columbus is even money, 6.5 years a total. Give us a winner.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd like this play a lot more if they were coming. Columbus was coming off the win. If Columbus was coming off the win, I would feel way more about taking Seattle. Feel way better about it. But I still like it. When I saw Columbus taking on Edmonton, and I knew the whole entire planet was going to be on Edmonton, I was like, man, I really, really hope Columbus gets the job done so I can take a look at Seattle for a big play the next day. Now, not a big play, but this is still a bet for me. I like Seattle here. I like their motivation in this one. Their defensive numbers have looked a lot better lately. And, this is a spot where I don't always fade teams on back-to-backs, guys. In fact, last week I backed teams, multiple teams, second half of back-to-back. But this particular situation with a track meet style game, with a game that was a comeback in the third period that went to overtime against now a Seattle team, well-rested, not having to travel anywhere, waiting at home, and they're waiting to get back on track to play their better version of hockey. Because as we've seen with this Kraken team, they have been an up and down type of team, a win one, a lose one team, a high scoring team, a low scoring team. This is a team that can take advantage of Columbus, that gives up a ton of shots, a ton of chances. And I feel like this is about as good of a spot as you're going to get here. If you like this Columbus team, well, you're getting a pretty good number, but I feel like that tells you all you have to know. Give me the Kraken minus 120. But also, I feel like this game is worthy of a sprinkle in the first period as well. Minus 130, win, draw, win. First period is plus 160. and the minus 130 is the money line on the first period as well. I think this is a spot here where you have to isolate the second half of back-to-back, Carm. Not always will we look towards fading teams in second half of back-to-back, but to me, this is one of those particular situations where I think there's an advantageous spot for it, and you got a very hungry Seattle team that can get the job done. Nobody likes Seattle. Nobody talks about Seattle as a fun team, as an exciting team, but I feel like that's the kind of team that can really play good defense, shut down this Columbus team. And Columbus is going to be motivated after that lead they blew, but I feel like they really gave it their all against the Oilers and might be a bit fatigued in this one. So, Ethan, I'm happy you're on board with me here, and hopefully they get the job done. Antonio, on different pages. Jackets, system playoff a loss, last game of road trip for them and winless. That's true, but I'm still a big fan of this Kraken team going into tonight. So, Carm, what do you think? We don't automatically fade teams on back-to-backs, but I do think it's a good day to do it.
Yeah, I'm looking more at the total in this one, Andrew, and I like the over in this one. A couple of reasons for it. Obviously, it's not the number one goalie for Seattle in there. Decord's injured, so it'll likely be Grubauer. And Elvis Merzlikins for Columbus. Elvis has been in the building 3 times as the goalie on the second of a back-to-back. 5-4 game against Pittsburgh, a 4-3 game against Buffalo, and a 3-2 game against the New York Islanders. Of those 3 games, I would have thought the New York Islanders would have been the higher scoring one, just because a lot of Isles games have gone over the total. But I see goals in this one. Columbus is still scoring goals. They're starting to find the net. They did it against an Oilers team that was supposed to be wound up and playing well defensively, and they still got goals in that one. They still got 4 in that one, and almost held on to get the victory. I see some goals here from both teams and enough to get us over this total. I think it's more of a contrarian play because I think a lot of people are leaning towards the under. I don't understand why. Myself, because the second of a back-to-back, travel from Edmonton to Seattle, the overnight stuff, I get it's the end of a road trip, a long road trip. They may be leg weary at some point, but they can still score goals and they still have speed. So the over for me, Andrew, in this one, and I'll keep it at that. As we bring in
bit contrarian, I like it though.
The contrarian. I got to be the contrarian sometimes. I was contrarian yesterday. Maybe I changed my name to Contrarian Carm. So, but with that said, let's bring in, as I say all the time, the shot of Bailey's in your coffee. Bryan Leonard.
This show is now sponsored by Just for Men. No, sorry, Bryan. I didn't say that.
Yeah. And Andrew, I'll say this. Bryan has graciously accepted my invite for him to co-host with you tomorrow. I will be unavailable tomorrow on the show, so that should cut the show down by at least 15 minutes of my yapping, old man yelling at the crowd. But with that, with that said, yeah, tomorrow is the FIFA World Cup. It's my time window, and it's right at 11 o'clock. So I have to be logged in order to get my World Cup tickets, and can't do a show at the same time. Maybe I'll appear towards the end of the show with a pod play. But with that said, Bryan, how you doing?
The rule is, though, if Bryan's filling in for you, you have to get me and him tickets too for the games. That's the
it's like $500 a ticket, and that's category 4, which is the lowest category or whatever. Bryan, how's it going, man? And congratulations on your 5% win
in soccer. Yeah, everything's going well. I see Ronald Kabang is joining the broadcast today. I got a lot of respect for those NBA guys because you never know who's going to play every night. So he and Rob Vino and Teddy Covers and the whole bit of them, all of them do a terrific job on that. Hats off to all of them. I've given up for the most part on the NBA until I get to the playoffs. The playoffs are easily beaten, but it's tough in the regular season.
I agree with that. It's just ridiculous. I mean, part of the handicap shouldn't be. I remember Dave Koken used to always just stress how important the starting goaltender was for NHL. Imagine him having to stress about, whether or not 7 or 8 players were going to be in the lineup for a game. That's a bit different than looking at goaltenders as it is. But Bryan, look, I've loved this new format. I love chit-chatting and catching up and talking conceptually about hockey and maybe getting your thoughts on a Vegas game or a Habs game or whatever it is here and there. But it is kind of nice to just have one game that's all yours. So what do you have for us today?
Well, Carmine was talking about being contrarian, and he made fun of my game I picked the other day. So I'll pick another one of those games. I'll be a little bit contrarian.
Oh, God, I can't believe you were listening to the show. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to take a look at this Washington and Carolina game. If you've been watching Washington, they don't have a lot of depth, and they've lost 6 of their last 7 games. But if you have paid attention to those games, they have played really well in the first and second period. They just can't do anything in the third period. Sort of like the opposite of what the Las Vegas Golden Knights have been doing. They can't do anything the first couple of periods and put themselves in a position where they can't come back. But Washington's playing a little bit better than what a lot of people give them credit for. As I said, they have dropped 6 out of 7, but they played some tough teams. Pittsburgh has been a team that is overperforming. Tampa Bay, they play Carolina here. Then they got to play Florida, New Jersey, the Kings, and the Oilers. Then they come up against the Montreal Canadiens and Tampa Bay again. So they're in a rough run, and it could be their season unless they could turn this around right now. But as I mentioned, they're the first couple of periods, they've been right there, but it's just don't have the depth to pull it out right now. So they're coming in this game obviously very hungry, and with their schedule coming up, they've got to start getting some victories. Carolina, on the other hand, have been playing great. They've come back from their road trip, and they've won 4 straight here. They beat the Rangers, shut them out on the road in New York, something that had been happening very often until last night. And congrats for the Rangers for scoring some goals. But they beat Minnesota, they beat Buffalo, they went on the road and beat Toronto. Now they're back home again, playing Washington. This is their 3rd game in 4 days for Carolina. They are hot. They've been winning. They are feeling really good about themselves. What does that tell you? That tells you that there's time to bet on Washington here. But I'm not going to play them for the full game because of their situation with the lack of depth. I'm going to play them in the first period. I don't do as many first period plays as you guys do, and I know your past guest Buster does a lot of first period stuff. I don't usually do it, but I want to be part of this Washington, either playing them in the first period or first 2 periods, something like that. And really, if you take a look from an underdog perspective, you can get them at like the 125. There's a 130 out there, plus 130 at FanDuel or one of the other ones out there right now. But actually, Fanatics, that's what it is. Fanatics right now, you can get them at 130. But most of the places are in the 125 range here for Washington, as opposed to getting them in the 140 range for the full game. So I'm going to play Washington in the first period. They're coming in. They're upset about themselves, and they need to come out and play better. They're motivated. Carolina, not so sure. Playing at home, 3rd game in 4 nights. It may take them a while to get going. So I like Washington here in the first period and catch them at, like I said, 125 to 130 out there.
Brian, when I look at this, game and these 2 teams, I think there's a lot of expectations on the Washington Capitals, and maybe unrealistic because of the monster season they had last year. And then getting bounced in the playoffs, and you just expect them to have a similar year. I didn't think they were going to have a similar year. I still think this team is good enough and well coached that they will make the playoffs. But I think people need to lower their expectations on the Washington Capitals. But I tend to agree with you that, I feel like Washington is a live dog in this game. You look at Carolina, and they had a great start to the season. Then they lose a few in a row. But you look at it, they haven't really been tested in their last 4 games. They played the New York Rangers, a team, and shut them out in New York, a team that's prior to last night were shut out in 5 of their 7 home games. And then they beat up on a Minnesota Wild team. They beat the Buffalo Sabres, who are hurting right now. Injuries. Rasmus Dahlin is back in Sweden, where his fiance had a heart transplant. So he's with her going through that. And obviously he's a defenseman is absolutely missed, and you just don't fill that role. And then they came back late when the Leafs fell apart. So I get it. You can only beat the teams in front of you. But I think if Washington gives gives it a go tonight and gives it full effort, that I think this is probably a spot where the Caps coming home could bounce. Not the Caps, the Canes could bounce, and Washington goes in there and steals one at plus 133.
Yeah, it's a situation for me, and situational play, and you have to do that a lot of times because the lines at this point of the season, we saw a lot of lines that were really off earlier in the year. They're a little bit tighter now as the season goes on. You would expect that in any sport once you see these teams a lot. But hey, you still got these teams like Chicago, San Jose, Montreal for a little bit, Anaheim, that continue to be overlooked. And that's why I like hockey and baseball, because every season you get different teams that come out and play well. It's not like college in the NBA or in the NFL where you rarely see a team go from not making the playoffs to being a Super Bowl contender or something like that. Every year is different. And a lot of times people use too much of what happened the previous year. You mentioned Washington, and they've gotten past the Ovi situation now where he's got his 900 goals. That had to have been a concern for them. Now they can go out and play without having to worry about feeding him and, things like that. So, yeah, I think Washington can be in this game the entire time. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty in the third period and you've got the better team playing at home that is either even or behind, that's something you see as the game goes on, that they come out. And it's sort of like in baseball. The longer you play, the better teams are going to win in shorter time periods. First 3 innings, first 5 innings in baseball, you can get those underdogs in a nice price. So that's what I'm looking for today with the Washington Capitals.
All right, man. Best of luck. $5 customer appreciation day over at WagerTalk. What do you got to promote?
Yeah, been on a really nice run. We won 6 out of the last 7 in hockey. Overall, 12-3 on our 3% or better. I've got a big 4% play in hockey going tonight, and get that right now for only $5. There's also a couple of MAC games going in college football. I swept the MAC afternoon games, or midweek games, the last 2 weeks. I went to Akron University. I followed the MAC very well. Haven't put up anything yet. The lines are tighter, as I mentioned, but I'm continuing to read, and hopefully I'll have another college football play up for you. Been on a really nice run in college football.
All right. Wishing you the best of luck. And thank you for doing double duty and coming on tomorrow in my spot. Hopefully I'll get my tickets and then be able to come on and be a guest on the show towards the end of the show. But with that said, Andrew, thanks for popping back in there, Andrew. Okay, Andrew, same game parlay. You are going to tweet it out instead of putting it out here because you're still compiling some information, some numbers. You want to make sure you get the right stuff out to people. If you guys aren't following myself and Andrew on the X, you really should be. Andrew, what's your Twitter handle?
Just at McInnis Picks. People, hopefully if you're watching right now on YouTube or on X, you can see at the bottom of the screen there, both of our X handles, myself at McInnis Picks, at Carmine Bianco WT. And I've got same game parlay. Well, a prop parlay of the day involving the Sharks and Wild game and the Jackets and Kraken game. I'll have that tweeted out to you guys on my page. And maybe if Carm is so kind, you can give me a retweet as well. But Carm, what do you have for us for your play of the day here for the bankroll?
All right. Yeah, yesterday was a hold your nose contrarian play. I think this one might fall into the exact same category, but I'm going to explain why. I am taking over 5.5 in the Calgary Flames and St. Louis Blues game. That is minus 120. So we'll try and increase that bankroll. Yesterday's one. So we're at 55.59, a 10% increase in the bankroll. I'm happy with that. Let's keep it going. They're 11%. So you look at the Flames, absolutely terrible on the road. 37 away goals allowed. They've only scored 20 goals on the road, but they're creating chances. They're just not going in. They've created 27.9 of XG on the road, only scored 20. That's almost 8 goals under their expected. But the perfect team for them to play tonight, because the St. Louis Blues have allowed 38 goals at home. It is one of the worst numbers in the league right now. And that's only on 20.45 XG allowed. So they're allowing more than 17 goals above the expected. And that only highlights the deficiencies they have right now in defense and their goaltending. This is the perfect game for the Calgary Flames to find the back of the net and score some goals, get that scoring going. It doesn't mean they're going to win, but it does mean that there's going to be goals in this game, over 5.5. And I'm seeing, as I speak, a couple of sixes pop up. So I think some of the books are thinking along the lines, or maybe they're watching the show, Andrew. Over 5.5 minus 120 is the pod play. Let's see if we can get that going.
Let's do it. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do with this bankroll when we're talking about December 1st, January 1st. No pressure, but step by step with the bankroll. It's what it's all about. So $5 Tuesday. I've got 4% play, as I mentioned, to start the show off. It was one and done for me yesterday. I was a smaller slate in the NHL, but I had one play I liked. We also kept on rolling with our NFL player props, an 11-2 NFL player prop run. And we got a play in the Grey Cup on Sunday in the CFL. You guys can get that, of course, over at wagertalk.com, wt.buzz/am. And Carm, that great special we have going on right now as well. What is it? 10 days, right? 10 days of plays?
10 days of plays for $99. It is a great deal. It's essentially almost the same as, I think, buying a 7-day all access, but getting 10 days. So that is perfect. You're going to get every single sport that your favorite capper releases, and includes all 5% plays as well too. If you head over to WagerTalk, a bunch of cappers all have their 5% plays up. You can get those. There's some great promos. As mentioned, I have a $5 customer appreciation play. I also, in that play, there is a coupon code, and I'm going to give it out here to get $10 off the 5% play tonight. ICE10. ICE10. So that is the code to get $10 off the 5% play, or take advantage of that one. And I had some people ask about this one, so I'm not sure if Dan can get it up on the screen, but I have a special up on the page right now for the rest of the NHL season. I call it the Cup to Cup special. You get the rest of the NHL season right through the Stanley Cup. And then when that is over, guess what's starting? The World Cup. Absolutely have killed the last two at WagerTalk in 2018 and 2022 in the World Cups, winning over 60 units of profit. I'm definitely looking forward to the World Cup. I'm going to be going to see a lot of games. It is my specialty. I watch a lot of soccer, of course. A database of teams, and especially the national teams as well too, when it comes close to World Cup time. So that is a great deal. You can get it over at WagerTalk, and you get every single NHL play through to the Cup, and then every single World Cup play. Great deal for almost half of the price of those two combined. So that's it for me, Andrew. Close parting words from you, and close the show out.
Let's cash some tickets in the NHL here, Carm. I'm good to go. 4% best bet, $5 Tuesday. Guys, as I always say, comment below. Let us know who your goal scorer picks are. Give us some good plus money ones as well. Let us know what you guys have going tonight in the NHL. I want to hear from you guys. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time right here on Puck Time.